All right, we have one last third video here on inheritance, just to point out one extra really good feature that once you start using parents and children in your program. What I'm going to do here is just show the idea of, in a lot of other languages, they call it the is-a relationship. Since I've taken the ghost and I've said its parent is monster, ghost technically is a monster. So it's a ghost, and it also qualifies as a monster. Same thing with spider, is a monster, and same thing with skeleton, is also a monster. What this gives us the benefit of doing is you can actually now treat the ghost, the spider, and the skeleton, and you can treat them all under one name. You can sort of treat them as monster. Here's just a quick example. I'm going to go to the player. I'll just add some corny feature here. Key press the letter X. And when I hit X, I can basically do something like this. I can say with monster instance destroy. Basically, this takes all monster objects and destroy them. Now you may say, well, you didn't put any monster objects in the room. True, but you did. You put a ghost in, and a ghost qualifies as a monster now. Same with the spider and the skeleton. So when I hit this one, you're going to see that this one phrase, oh monster, blanket covers those three objects, so that when I hit X, they're all destroyed. This is good for doing various things. For instance, if I wanted to code drag and drop behavior, you can just mention the word monster, and all those objects qualify as monsters, right? You can now do code that says, well, if I hit a monster, do this. Well, all three of these things count as monsters. So for instance, if I added in here, collision with monster, I don't know, I'll just do something like game end. Okay, just to show that it's working. And obviously the results here probably aren't too mysterious, but now when I just walk into a monster, the game ends, right? This makes it really good, and again saves you a lot of time coding various features in the game, especially when you have a lot of objects where you're doing something similar. Another nice one, let's say you were going to click and drag game piece units around. And you want to be able to click and drag ghost, click and drag spider, click and drag skeleton. Well, if you know how to do the mouse clicking and dragging thing to move units around, code it all inside of monster. Then when you click and drag any of these, it's going to work. For instance, here if I said player, mouse, global, let's say a little global left press. So when they left press anywhere in the room, I can say something like if instance position, this script, you just give it an X and Y position. I just click the mouse, so I'm going to check mouse X and mouse Y, and I'm going to check it to see if that mouse click at that exact pixel would collide with a monster object. Now, this script actually returns you an ID. So really what you want to check here is you're not checking true or false for this one. I want to see if it's returning me a big number or not. So I'm just going to say, if it's bigger than 0. Actually, let's do something even different here. Let me do this. Let me just say monster ID equals instance position whatever. This has sent me back an ID number. If nothing's been clicked, it's -4, okay, or less than 0. So I'm just going to ask here, if MID is greater than 0, I know that's an ID of a monster. And I'm just going to say with that MID, I don't know, direction is 90. Okay, send it up, just so we see some effects. Okay, let's give it a go. And this again emphasizes that these objects, when I click them, hey, that didn't work. And of course I went and checked my code here why it doesn't work, and you know what? The code's good, but I actually just, okay, maybe it's not good. Speed equals 10. I was changing the direction, but remember some of those objects aren't moving, so we won't see anything happen. So now what we should see is we should see them actually moving up. And so I click, and sure enough, it controls them, and off they go. So that's a nice little change there, right? So it gives you some other options. And one of your challenges in this level is going to be sort of code some of the click and drag, that you've done before, and just set some parent objects and apply it so now you can click and drag a whole bunch of things without having to retype all that code. So there you go. That's pretty well the basics of inheritance and what you can do with it. It's great for your projects. So when I've taught this to students almost always use it in their games that have lots of objects doing similar behavior. Thanks for watching. Hopefully that helps you save some time in your coding.